Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests. Today we go to Maryland. Desiree is with us. And we had to kind of ask ourselves, where did we meet? Actually, we met online, and it was a presentation about coaching and looking at different arts, how we can use coaching probably. But let's hear from Desiree. Introduce yourself and let's continue this conversation.
Sounds good to be here today. I'm Desiree Cocroft from Wisconsin, but I live in Maryland. And we did meet because I was on that panel with the Institute of Coaching talking about just how I use some movement with some of my clients when coaching or the value of using movement and specifically dance to really help us elevate how we move forward in our personal lives and just using that to really help us make that body connection to the things that we have going on in our other life, the real life that we're actually living. That was so much fun that when we did that panel for the Institute of Coaching, but I currently am a coaching consultant for a leadership development organization. So I do that full time. And I also am a coach, a speaker, and author for my own private LLC Destination Life, where I just help specifically women leaders. Though I've talked to a lot of leaders, whether they're women or otherwise, I do talk to work with a lot of women leaders, helping them do the inner work, really that mental fitness, working that muscle of mental fitness to get them out of their own way so they can really stand out in that boldness and that confidence that they need to just move into whatever transition in their life or career that they're interested in moving in. And I typically work with a lot of people that are entrepreneurs or leaders in industries or education. That tends to be the type of people that I tend to attract. I enjoy doing that. And then I have a nonprofit dance company that me and two friends started 18 years ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so I'm the board director for that nonprofit right now.
That's it?
Exactly.
Is there more? Sometimes I ask the people who have so much to offer, what do you do when you don't work? Can you not work?
I know. That's always a good question. Brunch is my favorite meal, my favorite food group. I definitely do that on my spare time. And we were just talking offline about going on a walk. All the ways that we tend to just work and entertain ourselves tend to be sitting down and on a screen. I like nature. I like hiking. I like going outside. Even with the weather getting crispy, I too enjoy like getting out.
Obviously, when you talk about dance, I always feel like being together, it's about seeing each other face to face. How has that been through the pandemic? And obviously, we know everybody's working or being on Zoom all the time. How have you managed through that time?
So I've used the internet a lot of times to take dance classes on YouTube, or because I've been a teacher and choreographer over the years. Sometimes I'll just do my own class in whatever space I have available just to move. And honestly, I do a lot of fun, random movement in public. Now, some people might feel a certain way about that. But sometimes I'm at Starbucks and Starbucks tends to play really good music. While I'm waiting on my drink, I might move around, sway around. And they're like, oh, you're having a good day today. I'm going to get in the car really soon and I'm going to have to drive. So I want to be able to move my body while I can.
Why not?
I like the idea. Actually, our dance company, when the pandemic first started, we did virtual dance breaks. On our Facebook page, we would go live from our studio and people could go to our live on our Facebook page and they would just give donations. That was our dance break. We did it every day or once a week, every day, something like that. I can't remember. It was a while ago. It feels like ages ago. It was only 2020. But we did it for like a month or two right when the pandemic started. And people really enjoyed it. They would show up at 12 o'clock for the dance break. It'd be about 30 minutes. And it would be a lot of fun. I love to think about just how can we just give ourselves like a dance break. And honestly, it helps with stress. It helps with so many things that we have going on. Mentally, emotionally, we hold stress in our bodies. And sometimes we need to just kind of shift things up, break the monotony. When we're feeling stressed out, it's like, get up, but don't just get up without allowing yourself to kind of relieve your body of the tension. Sometimes you need to stretch, you need to breathe, dancing or getting the wiggles out. Like children, when they're made to sit down or made to be still, or they have to because maybe they're going to the dentist. It's like, you got to stay in the chair, you got to be still, giving them the opportunity, okay, let them run around. As adults, we forget we need that. We need to let ourselves run around and get the wiggles out. And it kind of just resets us.
And when I'm listening to you, obviously, she's laughing all the time. It's contagious. When I see you at the Starbucks, like just doing some moves, people are like, oh, she's a crazy person. But when you actually think, it's releasing all the stress and who the hell cares?
Exactly. That is a great way to put it. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You're the one that has to like live with all this stress in your body, and might as well do what feels good. It's not harming anyone.
It's contagious. I think we need to do more of that and maybe learn from the children.
Oh, I love that. I think learning from children, well, I think we all do. When we take a moment of pause, we can really gather so many things that children really help us, remind us. I believe children are like a mirror. They're a mirror of who we desire to be more like. We become adults to be more like we were when we were children. We want to be free. We want to feel secure. We all may not have had the privilege of having childhoods like that. However, we can view other children and have that same childlike desire. Even when I'm working with clients or when I'm training groups, I always, especially when we're doing like goal planning, I'm always like, hey, I really want you to throw your inhibitions to the wind and be a toddler. Be that toddler that asks for whatever they desire without knowing the work that goes with it, not counting the cost, because sometimes we get so caught up in how something needs to happen. We forget about what we want. We forget about the thing. It's like, what do you want? I believe children are a great example of saying what you want. They don't care when they're asking you for cupcakes at midnight.
Or they want to be an astronaut. Like, then let's look at this. Maybe you can work in the science fields.
Yes.
You don't have to be per se an astronaut. Or people always say, when are you climbing Mount Everest? Well, I love to watch those movies and people go to Mount Everest. I don't want to go there. I was on Mount Kilimanjaro, but it's that adventure. You can recreate it and fulfill your dreams. I always feel like when I ask people, what do you do when you don't work? They say, oh, that's difficult. I always work. I'm like, oh, this is difficult to coach somebody. Don't you have a dream? What is your dream? Don't grow up too much.
You're totally right. I think when people feel like they're working all the time, it's almost a fear. I just posted this on LinkedIn because I think there's no joy in winning in life when it's done from a fear of losing. Sometimes we're working with the fear of like, I got to keep doing this or else, right? And that's where that anxiety comes in. And I, even in myself, like as a coach, even though I do have a full-time work, I still have that feeling of wanting to do things for my entrepreneurial endeavors in a way that I feel like is financially successful, internally successful, and all of that. Sometimes I can find myself running myself ragged, doing all the things with this fear of like, oh, I can't let it like crash. I don't want it to like fail and all of this. But it's great when I get really aware of me doing the whole shiny object syndrome, or when I call myself being squirrely. Like when I find myself being squirrely, it's like, calm down. Like that's when you need to get the willies out. That's when you need to take a walk, dance a little bit, take a breather, spend some time with some loved ones, just like unplug. I think the problem is we do it reactively. We tend to do it when we're like all the way up here, when it's actually better. We can just have that consistent opportunities for awareness, like really plan, kind of like brain breaks, dance breaks, whatever, really plan breaks. But we're human beings. So there's times where we're going to forget to do that because we just get caught up in whatever cycle we're on. The hedonistic cycle. And
we typically do it when we have the flu or God forbid COVID or anything. We're like, I need to slow down now. Versus actually, I think we can also plan. So I'm trying to plan my Friday afternoon for myself. It's not always possible, but I think it's also you have some freedom and you can work whatever hours and plan accordingly, because I say I have a meeting with the CEO.
Yes.
That's me.
I love that. Really honing in on truly the benefit of caring for ourselves can do. We really operate as our best selves when we've given ourselves space to be calm, be all the different facets of ourselves, meaning whatever other roles we have in our lives, we're giving ourselves the opportunity to be a mom if we're someone that has children, or to be a sister, a daughter, or a friend, a colleague, a spouse, whatever the case is. I think when we give ourselves the opportunity to be in those roles and not make everything we do about productivity. So the interesting thing is that productivity principles and such help you personally and professionally, but sometimes we can only put it in this professional bucket, using all those skills to be super successful at work, when, like you just said, planning out your chill time, your rest time, your me time is like equally as important. And it's equally as important to kind of space it out. I remember one of our clients, we were talking about something totally different. And somewhere in there, I was talking about vacation. I do work with a lot of educational leaders. And especially in the climate that we're in, a lot of educational leaders have been doubling down. They're either falling all the way off or doubling down. The one I was talking to, she was doubling down and she hadn't taken a vacation or just a day off. I'm not even about going anywhere. You should just take a day off. And she was like, what? I should. I said, I know we talked about other goals, but this is your homework. Take a day off, other than just, you gotta reset. You gotta reset.
But I also think when you're always on the go, it's hard to do nothing. So we almost have to ease into that nothingness.
And I think too, like you said, and it's like, I guess, defining what nothing really means. Because nothing is something, but nothing honestly is like, how can I bring my mind to neutral? And I wonder how interesting it would be to have, air quotes, this nothing feeling, even when we are in the midst of hustle and bustle, meaning just this feeling of calm. Because when I think of nothing, I think of like, I'm going to do anything. My first thought, or at least my interpretation of doing nothing, is being relaxed and not feeling anxious and feeling a little carefree and just enjoying all the senses that life brings in this moment without a schedule per se, or without worry. With that being said, how can I bring that same feeling into my everyday? And I think that's the challenge, that it would behoove us. We are the CEOs, or we are the leaders of our organizations, or we're a leader in an organization. We can change the culture of how we work. Be just that.
Spread the love.
Yes.
It should be that. And I also think when people are complaining about their work, change something. I know it's not always so easy, but you can change little things. You can take better care of yourself, even if you don't like your job so much. Add more happiness, add more, as you say in your book, get your life today. If you don't, I also say, if you don't do it today, today is the best time. If not now, then when? We always say next year, or I said like in 2020, everything will be perfect. We know what happened in 2020. Nothing was perfect. So it was that year that everybody was waiting for. We need to have a plan today.
I love that. We only have the present. We only have the present. We don't have the past. We don't have the future. Whatever we can do in this present moment is all that can be done. So we might as well enjoy it up until the last breath, last second.
I wanted to ask you as a last question, what is next? But we're talking about the present, so that might not be the good question. What is next for you?
Question. I have my book, I Get Your Life Today, and that came out in 2020, and that's available on Amazon. But I'm really looking forward to launching it as an Audible. That's my next project, is relaunching my first book as an Audible book. And so I'm hoping to bring in 2020 with that Audible book. I'm also taking some time and just thinking about how I want to extend some of my more one-on-one coaching clientele. I'm looking forward to that. I'm doing a whole rebrand situation so that I can focus on that, because that's been very rewarding.
I want to hear more about the Audible book because I think that's the trend. People are on the go, on the move, and they want to listen to books. I think, why not? And you're reading the book?
Yes, I am reading the book, which makes it fun. I almost was going to pass it off because you can hire people to read a book. One of my coaching colleagues highly suggested, she said, no, you're funny. You should read your own book. I was okay, I'll read my own book.
Then you feel like you're with you when you are listening to the book. Well, we want to hear the book. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time today. Keep moving. Keep dancing.
Thank you.
Let's dance at the Starbucks. Who is watching you and who cares? Thank you so much, Desiree. This was a lovely conversation and makes me smile and want to work out and dance and go for a walk. It's necessary. Take good care of yourself. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday with interesting people, inspiring people. It can be people like you. Thank you for your support. And Take It from the Iron Woman is also a book. You can download it or get it in your local bookstore. See you next time. Bye-bye.